Hello and welcome back to J is for Justice. In today's video, there's a Walmart receipt for a Dickies jumpsuit. Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen were texting with one another during the murders. The FBI sent the Goncalves family a letter. I got some bombshells, guys. Let's get into it. As you may already know, Howard Blum is a reporter who has done extensive reporting on the Moscow murders. Just today, a podcast called The Morning Meeting with Ashley Baker and Michael Haney was released. This is a podcast where they talk with the airmail editors, and that is who Howard Blum writes for. This podcast came out October 7th, 2023. And there are some bombshells in here that I wanted to share with you guys and get your thoughts on. Steve Goncalves and his daughter, Olivia, put their detective hats on and found some pretty important information.
Work suit, which is a work suit that covers you from your neck to your legs and your arms. And the police are now hypothecating that Kohberger wore this work suit, the Dickies work suit, which he bought for $49.99 at a Walmart in Pullman, Washington. He wore this during the killings, and then afterwards he took it off, threw it into his trunk, perhaps in a garbage bag, and that's why there was no blood in his apartment or in his car. And again, the police have this receipt.
So all of these months, those of us who have speculated that he could have worn a monkey suit could explain the lack of blood evidence. Oh, but Steve's not done yet. There's more.
Steve's investigation has also found out some more evidence. Since the beginning of this case, one of the great mysteries is, and has been, two roommates survived. One of them, according to a police affidavit, saw the killer walk through the house. She stares at him, and then she goes back to her room. And for the next 8 hours, nothing happened. Well, according to what Kaylee's father has found, there has been evidence presented to the grand jury that says that these two roommates, during the course of this murder, were texting to one another, and that at one point they even sent a text saying, "Oh my gosh, I think someone's being killed." And if this is accurate, because again, this is what Steve has found at the grand jury, if it's accurate, it raises a really troubling question. They knew that something was happening in the house. If they suspected that someone was being murdered, why did they wait 8 hours before informing the police? That is one of the great mysteries of this story, and one that Steve is trying to find.
If this is true that the two girls were actually texting one another, listening to the killings go on, how does this change your feelings about the surviving roommates, or does it? Could they have been scared to make a phone call? I don't know. One can only speculate at this point because everything that we've heard is just so bizarre. I still want to give the girls the benefit of the doubt, but hearing these things does raise some questions.
And Steve has also discovered something else. He's found that the prosecution and the authorities are sitting on a witness. What this witness knows, what this witness has seen, remains a large mystery. Steve set out to try to talk to this witness to discover this for himself. He really is determined to get to the bottom of the things, and then something totally strange happens.
Here we find out that Thompson and the rest of the prosecution team has a secret witness up their sleeve. But similarly to the way the FBI contacted Gabriela Vargas, the quote-unquote DNA expert, it seems the Goncalves family was also contacted by the FBI.
The FBI sends a letter to his lawyer, who's Shannon Gray, Steve Goncalves' lawyer, saying that back off. This witness came to us under a edict on a tip line saying that we would protect his confidentiality. And if you try to contact him, if you in any way reveal his identity, then you will be in violation of federal laws. And Steve felt he had no choice but to back off. And at the end, all he can say, there's a lot more to this story than the media knows at this point. And this mystery has remained, and it hovers over this entire tragedy. And Steve, I believe, rather courageously, is trying to get to the bottom of things.
I understand for the integrity of a case, grand jury witnesses are supposed to be kept private. And if they thought that the Goncalves family might reveal the name, it could blow the case. However, when you look back at this whole entire case, the evidence that we've seen so far, who could possibly be the secret witness?
Potential witness is a real mystery. The only time it's been mentioned is to the grand jury. The grand jury sessions are sealed. The fact that it's not a rumor is substantiated by Shannon Gray, Steve's lawyer, receiving a letter from federal authorities telling him to back off.
So we actually have confirmation that the FBI did send a letter to Shannon Gray. And now we see why Steve Goncalves backed off so hard like he did.
If it's so important that he has to back off, one has to wonder what it is. And it's just another mystery in a case that's filled with mysteries. I mean, the major question for all these months is coming up to a year since these murders occurred. And still, we really don't have a handle. We being anyone, even the authorities, it seems, have a handle on why. Why did these killings take place? Were they aimed at one of the victims? Were they aimed at just the house? Was it just happenstance? This is an answer that any curious individual that reporters want to get to the bottom of. For a family who lost a child, it's an issue of supernal consequence.
This part really had me thinking how difficult it is to lose a child in the first place, let alone lose a child in a brutal way, and then to have all of this red tape wrapped around this horrific murder involving your child and not being able to get any answers. And it further infuriates me to see that this trial is just stagnant, just sitting there. And in the whole grand scheme of things, there's victims' families that sit waiting for answers, waiting for justice. It's got to be grueling.
That exists on this case. Is the trial going to be postponed for 6 months or a year or even 2 years? Steve Goncalves believes it could perhaps be as long as 2 years. And that means he and his family are going to be living in this nether state for at least 2 more years, not knowing why their daughter was murdered. I think the fact that the prosecution and the defense have not publicly come out with a trial date is very disturbing.
Howard Blum uses these examples as a reason why reporters need to get to the truth in this case, and why he doesn't agree with the gag order.
Think as a reporter that gag orders, especially such a prohibitive one has in this case, are detrimental to the truth coming out. And I think that Steve taking this on his own and going out trying to get to the bottom of the things, he's performing the sort of function that reporters usually do. And I think in this sort of judicial darkness, the truth is buried and rumors just propagate. And I think there've been enough rumors on this case. That's one of the things when Steve begins his investigation. He gets so many leads.
Now Howard goes a little deeper with the description of what Steve's investigation actually led him to.
He gets a lead from a man in prison, a convict, and it seems quite promising. The convict makes an elaborate but very believable story, and Steve spends several months working with a private detective, going down this rabbit hole, trying to get to the bottom of things. At the end, he realizes it's phony, so he keeps on going.
In his quest for the truth, Steve Goncalves is going through all of these loops to get to the truth. It sounds like torture to me. Anyone who gets infuriated over the fake news about these cases on YouTube or social media at all, listen to what these people that fake things put Mr. Goncalves through.
He also receives videos, and these videos allege that there were different cars in the area or different people. Sounds have been superimposed on the King Road house at night, and these videos are allegedly taken from light bulb cameras, CCTV surveillance, and these are very elaborate fraud. And the idea that there are people out there who are taking the time and energy to create these doctored videos is surprising and horrid. And again, it's also a reason why this gag order is detrimental to getting at the truth, and why Steve's quest is something I think to be admired and applauded. I feel filled with respect for a father who refuses to surrender to the horrible events of his daughter's death.
Needless to say, I have a renewed respect for Steve and the rest of his family. He is definitely the alpha of his family. And I can't imagine the emotional turmoil that they've gone through, sifting through all of the stuff that's out there and not getting any confirmation from the authorities on anything. If you do anything today, guys, send good thoughts, prayers, vibes out to that family and all of the families of the victims of the Idaho 4. Well, that is the end of our video for today. Lots to think about there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the discussion going. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.